Antonio Gramsci or Gramsci. He was an Italian Marxist. He wrote this book in prison under Mussolini. And this sort of hacking, a lot of people now talk about the long march through the institutions of the left. Okay. How did the left take over the culture? And Gramsci actually saw the revolutionary potential of all of this from, quote unquote, within capitalism. Okay. How are you going to capture the hearts and the minds of the people without even picking up a gun? Okay. And again, it's all of these methods that I've looked at. So there are two sides of it, really. But Bernays is more the practical side, how to actually do it, the actual on-the-ground tactics. Gramsci is more the kind of theoretical side. Why would you want to do this? What could be the potential benefits of it from, a communist point of view? Okay, I'm not suggesting, by the way, that Bernays was a communist. I'm just saying that these are two sides of looking at the same problem. There are other theorists you can look at as well. But when people talk about the quote unquote culture wars, right? The culture wars, but nobody seems to want to talk about how it actually works. What are the actual mechanisms of it? If you were going to try to get your particular brand of whatever it happens to be out there, what would you have to do? Okay, I actually believe that some version of this is happening right now. As one example, there's been this big explosion of alternative political spaces. And I've talked before about how I believe independent voices are being attacked and crowded out by basically controlled voices, okay, in exactly this manner. Okay, it's always the same playbooks over and over again. And that's just because possibly that's how human societies and cultures work, right? I mean, especially if you want to hack them, especially if you want to control them, okay? And this is an underrated part of politics. It's also why various authoritarian regimes in the past have just cracked down on any attempts to run your own newspaper or run your own record label, or they've wanted controls on those sorts of things, or some, commissar or government, government agent looking over your shoulder to ensure you're doing it in the right way. Because if you don't do all of those things, of course, there's nothing stopping some organized group doing all of the things that we've said, and lo and behold, you've lost your quote unquote culture. So there's actually a reason why historically authoritarian regimes have done that sort of thing, again, for good or for ill. I'm sure there are all sorts of bad there are all sorts of bad things that come from repression of that nature. Okay, I'm trying to give you a kind of value-free analysis of the nuts and bolts of, what you'd need to do if you wanted to hack a culture from the top down.